So you're wondering how to start your online health coaching business. Maybe you've just completed your certification, or maybe you've been working as a nurse or a massage therapist or a social worker for years and years, and you want to make the transition into health coaching and do that online so that you can have the impact that you desire and also have the time flexibility that you see so many of your peers and colleagues having. Well, you are in luck because in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to get started with your online health coaching business. When I graduated as a registered holistic nutritionist back in 2007, there was no online health coaching anything. I didn't even know that I could work online. Virtual practice wasn't a thing yet. And the hype and the popularity of working online also didn't exist, at least to my knowledge anyway. It actually took me 5 years to even have the awareness that I could operate online. And once I did, I never looked back. I have been online working with clients in a coaching capacity since 2012. And so in this video, I'm going to walk you through the few steps that you can take if you want to start your health coaching business, whether you want to do it online or not. Although I would love for you to do it online, because why wouldn't you? It's actually quite simple for you to be able to get started as a health coach, especially now because of technology. So if that's something you're interested in, this video is going to break it all down for you. And if you are new to this channel, hello, I am Lori Kennedy, the founder of the Wellness Business Hub, and we work with practitioners and coaches who are just getting started online with their coaching business to help them start and grow using their own coaching program. And I love online coaching. Online coaching changed my life, and I know that it can change yours too. So let's get started with the steps that you can take to start your own health coaching business. Again, whether it's online or not. So step number 1 is to think about your big reason why. Why do you want to have a health coaching business or a coaching business in general, right? And in my experience, there's 2 sides to this. There's the personal side, and then there's the professional side. And so on the professional side, what is your mission? Why does this matter to you? What motivated you to go and even become a health coach in the first place? What is your big mission? What is your driving force? And the reason that that is important is because when you're first starting your coaching business, there's a lot to learn and there is a learning curve. And so it's very helpful for your motivation and your stick fortitude for you to continuously go back to your mission and reinforce the impact that you want to have, to use your mission as a reminder why you're going through this, why you're learning what you're learning, why you're stretching yourself outside of your comfort zone. So that's on the professional side, to have your mission, to have your purpose, to use that as the anchor to continuously remind yourself that you are doing this for a bigger reason, that there are people out there that you know that you can help, even if it feels uncomfortable for you to do so right now. And then on the personal side, and this is what really helped me, was creating a vision of what I wanted my life to look like and how to set my business up, my coaching business up, to support my ideal lifestyle. As I was transitioning from being an in-clinic nutritionist to working online, this vision was at the forefront of my mind. The reason that I was so motivated to move online was because I wanted to be able to impact more people while having time flexibility. I didn't want to be tied to a place where I had to physically go every single day. I wanted to have more freedom around my schedule, which having a coaching program versus seeing clients on a one-to-one basis, allowed me to do. I had this vision of being a present mom and being able to pick my kids up from school in the middle of the day if they're sick, or, go to the hockey tournament on a Friday without having my salary be impacted because I'm only being paid when I see clients face to face. And so starting out with your own coaching business, it's really important for you to have a clear reason why and use that both personally and professionally as the anchor, because there's going to be times where you're like, this doesn't feel so good, and maybe I should just throw in the towel. And then you come back to that purpose and that mission, and it reignites that fire in you to serve. So that's step number one to getting started with your health coaching business. Step number two is having relevant training and insurance if needed. And so this is a step that's often looked over when we talk about getting started with a coaching business. And this is specific to those of you who are not yet certified or don't have any type of liability insurance. And also for those of you who are licensed or regulated, you might need to add some type of coaching certification to give you a broad scope of practice. So we work with a lot of nurses, we work with social workers, we work with massage therapists. And a lot of the time they have to go and get additional certifications to allow them to practice as a coach. Even though their license will prevail, they don't have the ability within their scope of practice to be able to provide certain types of education or certain types of recommendations without additional certifications. So it's a professionally responsible thing for you to do to become informed whether you are what your scope of practice is, and whatever professional association you belong to should be able to tell you sort of the regulations of what you can and cannot do, because there are different rules and regulations based on whatever state or province that you live in. And so that's specifically for licensed and regulated practitioners who want to become a coach. And the other thing that I will add in here is that most professional associations make getting started online feel very scary. They have really tight restrictions that they, of course, expect you to abide by, as you should abide by them. But I want to reinforce that there is always a way for you to do what you want and to set your business up to support your ideal lifestyle while abiding by your scope of practice and your professional regulations. You're also going to want to inquire if you need liability insurance or just regular business insurance. So this really depends on if you're licensed and regulated and you are going to operate as a coach, or if you are unregulated, as in you are a health coach or you are a nutritionist or you are a life coach, and you want to just make sure that you have some type of liability insurance, whether that's through a professional liability insurance provider or just regular old business insurance. So if you're just starting out as a coach, you can do a quick Google search for coach liability insurance or life coach liability insurance or health coach liability insurance and just see what pops up for you. You want to make sure that you invest in the type of insurance that covers you to work with people online in and outside of whatever state or province that you live in. And then one more thing on the mention of relevant training. I work with thousands of practitioners and coaches who end up investing in a lot of different professional programs. They hold multiple degrees or certifications because they are seeking confidence, because they don't feel confident getting started with clients. And so they take more and more training, they take more and more certifications, hoping that that additional education will ignite a feeling of self-assuredness and confidence in them. Instead of investing in your professional education, instead of gaining more certifications around the topic that you already know enough about, you're going to want to gain client experience by working with a few clients. And you can do this as a simple beta test. And I'll talk a little bit more about beta testing in just a minute, but this is how the practitioners and coaches that I work with are able to move through that fear of what if I'm not able to help, and we get them going, because the minute you can get into momentum, that fear subsides. So I just wanted to throw that out there in case you are someone who is racking up certifications because you don't yet feel confident. Step number 3. So now it's time to really pick a business coaching model. So this is the first major decision that you will be making as a business owner who offers coaching. But don't worry, because choosing a business model isn't permanent. It's not like a life sentence that you can't modify. The good news is that you can and most likely will adjust your model as you gain more experience. And as you go through different seasons of life, you might have a season of life where your time is much more limited, and so you shift your offerings. Or you might go through a season of life where you have a lot more time and you want to devote a lot of that time and energy to growing your business. And so if you're like me, I had no idea as a nutritionist, even when I was working as a personal trainer, I had no idea what a business model was. I didn't go to business school. I had no formal business training. I graduated as a holistic nutritionist, and I did what they told me to do. I built a website, I did free talks, I made brochures, and I got business cards, which obviously date me. And I didn't really understand that I was actually taught a practice model. I was taught a business model, which essentially was selling a service. It was trading time for money. I sold time in exchange for a fee. And so when I first started, I sold 60 minutes of time for $97. And then I sold follow-up sessions, 45 minutes of time for $50. And that is how I made money. And so later on, when I learned what a business model was, that is the, time for money model. And I didn't love it because I wanted to be able to have a business that operated with or without me. I wanted to be able to have my coaching business run and generate money and be able to work with clients, whether I was face to face with them or not. And at the time when I was a nutritionist, that didn't exist. That option didn't exist until I created it for myself in 2009 when I created my first coaching program, which was called Wow Weight Loss. And so I went from working a one-to-one practice model, and I then transitioned into having a group coaching program model where I set up a program as, this independent entity. It was called Wow Weight Loss. And I worked with menopausal women who just wanted to lose weight without giving up wine, chocolate, or popcorn. The best part about it is that I was in my late 20s, so not having gone through menopause at all yet. And I went from selling time to creating a coaching program that existed outside of my time that I was able to enroll clients into over and over and over again. And so they would come for their weekly coaching. I would put, 12 women into a group. I would have different times of the week where they could come and participate in group coaching, and they would go through the program on their own. And so this is how I grew my nutrition practice to multiple six figures and multiple locations. So I went from a one-to-one practice model to a group coaching model. And so this is where you now get to make a decision where you can say, okay, what is the practice model? What is the coaching model that would best suit me? And then later on, I modified it even more to become the fusion method, where I actually fused together one-to-one coaching sessions with the group coaching model. And so when I enrolled people into my coaching program, they have the option of getting both. So they have the option of getting one-to-one private coaching, and they also have the option of attending group coaching calls. And so that brings together the best of both worlds. So now you have a choice. You can say, okay, do I want to continue working one-to-one with clients where they are simply paying me for my time and I am providing a service? Or do you want to go and create a coaching program where people are enrolling into the program and then you are deciding on the type of coaching that would best suit them? So perhaps they're just getting one-to-one calls with you inside of that coaching program, or they're going to get the best of both worlds where you're now offering them enrollment into the program with a predetermined set of one-to-one sessions and also group coaching. And so that's what we call the fusion method. And we actually have a fourth model, which is completely passive, and that is self-guided. And so if you're not sure which model would work best for you, I actually put a link to the quiz that we have right below this video. So based on your experience, based on how you want to set your life up, based on the way that you would prefer to interact with clients, the quiz will actually give you a recommendation of which coaching program, which coaching model, or which business model is the best for you. So make sure that if you haven't already taken that quiz, that you go ahead and take it. But that is step number 3, which is to pick a coaching model. And for me, it was really important that I created my business to support my ideal lifestyle. And so here's an example for you. Let's say you're a nurse and you've been working in some type of clinical setting for years, and you had hours and you were, paid a set salary, and now you want to become a coach so that you can use your training and you can use your knowledge to serve and help people, but also have a life that you love with loads of flexibility. And you still want to work one-to-one with people, and you also want to provide group coaching. And so let's say you have expertise in helping people with diabetes. So you create a coaching program for people with type 2 diabetes, and depending on this type of support that they need, you can either sign them up just for group coaching, or you can add in a predetermined number of one-to-one sessions. And so the fee that the client pays is reflective of the amount of coaching that they will be getting. So the people who are just signed up for the group coaching program with group coaching will pay a little bit of a less fee than those who are getting additional one-to-one sessions to work with you. And so this is the model. You get to choose. You have options, which I wasn't aware of when I first started as a nutritionist, and I felt really stuck and I felt trapped. And now you have options. So after you pick a coaching model, a business coaching model, now you're going to move on to step number 4, which is to pick a niche and create your area of specialization. And so the reason that we want to do this is because it helps you to stand out from the crowd. So my job is to help you become a purple duck in a sea of yellow ducks. So yes, there are a lot of coaches. That is true. However, there are not enough coaches to help the amount of people that really do need our help in your own communities. And still, we want you to be seen. And so when a person is searching for help, whether they're Google searching or they are scrolling on social media, they are actively looking for a solution. And so when they come across you, we want to make sure that you stand out like a purple duck and grab their attention immediately. Picking a niche and having an area of specialization allows you to really focus in on your messaging, on your marketing, on the education that you provide, on the way that you create the program content. So instead of just having random tips and tricks, instead of talking about anything and everything, instead of having random habits thrown together, you are really speaking to that area of specialization, and you are providing education, and you are providing inspiration, and you are providing empowerment for people who are suffering with that persistent, painful problem that you, as the coach, specialize in. So that when they are scrolling, when they are searching, your content, your brand, your presence jumps out at them to be like, oh, I need to work with her. I need to work with him. They are calling out to me because that is the issue that I am dealing with. And so when you become a coach and you have a niche and you create your area of specialization, it allows you to build an audience faster than if you just stay general. And the audience is fellow purple ducks. So you're speaking the same language. They're looking up at you and saying, it's like you're telling my story. It's like, I'm so glad that I found you. This is so helpful to me. And they're asking you, how can you help me further? How can you work with me? Like, I need to get into your program. It sounds like it was created just for me. That's what you want. Having a niche in an area of specialization really helps to create a level of trust and likability, because the person on the other end is able to qualify themselves to say, oh, yes, this person has the knowledge and the ability to help me with my persistent, painful problem, or no, they don't. Here's a really good example. Which would you choose? Would you choose a general practitioner or coach who knows a little bit about a lot of things and can help anyone and everyone? Or would you pick the specialist who has the program and the brand and the marketing and everything dialed in that is specifically designed with the painful problem that you are suffering from, whether that's IBS or seasonal allergies or painful periods or weight loss for people over 40, or a child who is emotionally dysregulated and is suffering in school? Which would you rather choose? Somebody who hasn't really ever worked with that population before, or someone who has a lot of experience and a program specifically designed to deal with that persistent, painful problem? If it were me, I'm going straight to the specialist, right? I'm not going to bother with the generalist who may or may not be able to help me. And so that's step number 4, and it's picking a niche and creating an area of specialization so that you can become known as the wow gal, which was me. I was wow weight loss. So you can become known as the specialist in your niche. Step number 5, create a professional online presence. So I know that showing up on social media is terrifying. I know that there is so many other things that you would rather be doing, and that showing up on social media feels embarrassing, and you want to make sure that you show up in a way that feels and looks professional. Having a professional online presence is really important because you need to build that audience, especially if you want to work online. And so having that audience means that you have a duck pond filled with purple ducks who become your prospects. And having a social media presence really is like having a business card. Back in the day, I had business cards with me wherever I went, whether it was the grocery store, whether I was on a trip, whether I was at a hockey arena. Like, I made sure I had brochures and business cards, because if somebody started talking and they had an issue, I could say, oh my gosh, I can help you. And I handed them my business card. Well, now if I'm out somewhere and I overhear somebody and I know that I can help, I say to them, come follow me on Instagram. Or I'll even shoot them the URL of my lead magnet and I'll say, here, make sure that you're subscribed to my email list, right? And so having an online presence is like having a storefront, because the first thing that people are going to do is they're going to Google you, or they're going to head to your social media. If somebody gives a referral, or they're searching, right? They're searching for a health coach that deals with IBS, for example, and they stumble upon your social media presence and it's not updated and it's not reflective of what you do as a professional, because there's loads of pictures of vacations, or there's loads of pictures of whatever personal stuff you've got going on, they're going to scroll on by. And so we want to make sure that your online presence from all social media pages, including your personal ones, is reflective of the storefront that represents your coaching business. Because your personal Facebook page, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, those are going to be the social media sites that pop up when somebody Googles your name. And so we want to make sure that we're leveraging them and that they are inviting, so that the right people can identify that you can help them, and your social media presence calls them in to subscribe to your email newsletter, to register for your webinar, to join your Facebook group, to book a consultation with you. Think of it this way. If you're walking down the street and you were looking for a dress because you are a bridesmaid, and there was, a bunch of stores that may or may not have dresses, but you're really looking for a dress store. So you're walking down the street and you see these stores and you kind of peer in and you're like, well, it's not like really what I was looking for. And you walk on by because those storefronts did not call you in. And then you continue walking, you turn the corner and bam, David's Bridal. Right? And you see the dresses in the window, and you see the bridesmaids' dresses, and you see the wedding dresses, and you open the door and you walk in and you leave with a dress. The same thing is true of your online presence, because instead of walking down the street, the people who could potentially stop in front of your shop, so to speak, they're scrolling social media, and you want them to stop their scroll on your image. You want them to stop their scroll on your profile. You want them to open the door, otherwise known as subscribing to your email newsletter list. You want them to engage with your presence. And so we have to make sure that we make it easy and inviting to do so. And so once you have your niche and your area of specialization, the next step is really to say, okay, how do I design a storefront that is going to be so inviting for the people that I know that I can help? And so then you go and you craft your online presence in a professional way to really be so inviting that the people who are stopping on by, the people that are walking down the street, the people that are scrolling social media immediately stop and feel called to consume your content. And so step number 6, this is the next step after you've now created your professional online presence, and this is to create the coaching program. So now we've gotten to the point where you have a niche, you have an area of specialization, you have an online presence, you're like, but I got nothing to offer. There's no bridesmaids dresses in my shop. My shop is empty. And so to start your online health coaching business, we actually need a coaching program. And so this is the step that trips practitioners and coaches up the most, is because they were not taught how to take their professional knowledge and turn it into a curriculum. They were not taught to specialize and how to take that theoretical knowledge, that theoretical methodology, and turn it into step-by-step instructions that clients can follow without their physical interaction. That was the hardest part for me. It actually took me 4 months. It took me 4 months to create that first iteration of curriculum. Think about it as writing an instruction manual. You have an area of specialization. You have a persistent, painful problem that you as a coach are solving for a particular population. Let's say it's moms who have children with ADHD and they are emotionally dysregulated. And so you are going to put together a coaching program to support those moms, not only to support their own health and well-being, but to also support the child so that they become more emotionally regulated. So think about it this way. What are the steps in order that this mom would need to take in order to experience a positive transformation? So your coaching program is made up of step-by-step learning lessons and action tasks that your clients can follow. They can follow whether they are interacting with you or not. And so the reason that they need you is because if instructions were enough, if free information was enough, if reading a book and following it was enough, we would not be in the physical and mental health crisis that we are in right now. And so we know that in order for people to actually change, in order for people to change their mental health, in order for people to change their physical health, they need accountability, coaching, and support. And so this is why they're going to invest in your coaching program, because not only do you have the step-by-step instruction manual that they're able to follow, you are also going to support them through the transformation, because creating change is hard. Nobody wants to overhaul their entire life, right? It's not like any of us woke up in the morning and is like, yes, let me do these really hard things day in and day out. I am happy to give up all of my favorite foods, and I am happy to battle my child to eat vegetables, right? Nobody wants to do that stuff, but we know we have to. And once we get into momentum, it becomes easier. But this is where the coaching part comes in, right? It comes in, okay, they need to comply with the lessons and the actions that are outlined for them in your coaching program. So your coaching program is made up of step-by-step pre-recorded learning lessons and action tasks that your clients get access to, and then they attend either the one-to-one coaching calls with you or the weekly group coaching sessions as part of your business model, right? As part of your business model. And so that's really it. Those are the 6 simple steps to getting started with your health coaching business. And having a coaching program creates flexibility of time and the ability to help 10 times more people than you ever could if you were just to sell your time in exchange for a service fee. When you have an online coaching program, it allows you to create a container that includes the elements that we know that the research on change theory states is needed for people to implement and maintain new mindsets and new habits that support these positive outcomes. And this is why I love having coaching programs. This is why I am so emphatic that every single coach and practitioner have a coaching program in their business so that they are able to support clients through the transformation and have that transformation be long-term. So I hope this was helpful for you. If it is, make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on any of the videos that I post weekly. And if you haven't already taken that quiz, make sure that you take it so that you can find out which coaching model works best for you. And I will see you real soon. Bye.